Welcome back to my channel. My name is M.Tisdale, Tisdale, and this is my 3-month post-op video. Today is the 26th. I just realized that as I was talking. I thought I was doing a 2-month post-op video, but it turns out there's a 3. So this is what we're gonna do. I wrote down questions and I'm gonna answer them for you guys. Hopefully I don't go on a tangent when I'm talking. That's what editing is for. But let's get into it. What did I get done? I got lipo 360 and a BBL. What was the price? $3,500. I got my doctor when he was fresh at Jolie, so I got a deal, and I think that included 3 massages that I only did 1 of because it hurt like hell. No, I did 2, but it was ridiculous because it just was. And that included the faja, and that's it. These questions are kind of out of whack, so bear with me. I'm just going based off of questions that I've been asked, and I made a poll on my Facebook on, people asking me questions, so they're kind of all around, so just bear with me. As I said, Jolie was my surgery center. I didn't have any issues with him, as you saw in my last video, and if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. I didn't have any issues. The only issue I had was the whole COVID testing part, and that's because they tried to act like they didn't receive it, or that they didn't receive it but that it wouldn't suffice, some crazy like that, and it happened on the day of post-op. That's the only hiccup that I had, but it got resolved. So other than that, everything went smooth. What was my routine when I got back home? My routine when I got back home, I have my husband, I have my daughter. My husband switched it around to where I didn't have to go pick up my daughter from school, so that was one thing that saved my life. And then I just chilled. Like I was kind of bored, but only thing I could do really is shower, lay down, walk around sometimes. I got to the point where I was able to like go outside and do some type of errand, like go get the mail, let the dog out, that type of thing, but I didn't do too much. And then my mom eventually flew out here and she helped me, and she would help me put my faja on, and that was it. My whole routine was just trying to heal. I didn't do anything else but try to heal. That's your goal. And I was off for 3 weeks. 3 weeks in total. I stayed 8 days in Miami. I went there 2 days prior because I didn't want to miss my pre-op, and I was coming all the way from California. So the flight there I think was like 7 hours, something like that. So yeah, I had to make sure I got there on time for my pre-op. So I got there. My surgery was February 26th. I got there February 24th, and I left on March 3rd. And that was that. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this question. For all my military people, the way I did it, I don't think it's the same for everywhere, every command, but my command was pretty chill. My senior chief knew about my surgery, so, and she was pretty cool about it. My CO was cool. I guess he was cool about it because he approved it, but I routed a request shit, and then I requested convalescent leave. I don't think convalescent leave is supposed to go the way I did it, but it got done. Okay, so another question is, how often did I get my massages? So when I was there, I got like a massage a day, and then one day I did it 3 times in a day. It probably wasn't the proper way, but that's what I felt like doing. I was in pain since I think the 3rd or 4th, the entire time, but the pain didn't set in until like 3 days post-op, I believe. And it was really hard for me to lift myself up when I had to lay on my stomach. So I was trying any and everything to make myself feel better. So people in the comments or whoever can say that, oh yeah, you were supposed to do that. I understand that, but if you felt how I felt, you will understand, or at least trying to empathize that I was trying to make myself feel better. I felt like, because a lot of people will always say, oh, well, if after you get a massage, you'll feel better. So I was trying to make myself feel better. When I got home, I had 2 a week. I had to find somebody. It was kind of last minute, but she was a really nice Asian lady who helped me. She was really very knowledgeable. I'll put her link down below, but she was very helpful. It was twice a week for an hour long. I mean, you can see her prices on her website, but I paid $120 for each massage. Her 30-minute massages are $75. Now at this point, I slowly, she told me when I needed to only do 1 a week, and then eventually she told me I didn't need to do any at all. But after a while, my back started to burn, so I was like, nah, I'm gonna go back. And I told her what was going on. The first time she didn't understand or didn't feel anything, and then the second time that I went back, she's like, okay, now I feel it. So now I do once a week from now on. So I think that question answers the question of how often did I get massages. But the reason why she told me, and I like her for this, she told me like at a certain point, like, oh, okay, you don't need me anymore. You can massage yourself. The reason why I was so concerned about it is because I felt like they would help me. Because in the very beginning, my stomach was hard, and that's called fibrosis. And I feel like that was because I did not have a massage the day I got back. I felt like I should have had a massage the day I got back, but it was another person that was in this area that was booked, and her rule was, what did she say? It was like, if you were seen by somebody else, you have to schedule so many with her. You're forced into it. Like, you can't just get one. Because I already had somebody lined up, but I just needed one for that day, and my person wasn't available. But how she worded it was like, if you don't book all your massages with me, I can't book with her. So I was just like, okay, no. Which I think in turn made me develop a seroma. I can roll into that next question, the seroma. Now, this seroma, if you don't know what seroma is, it's a pocket of fluid that builds up into your body, your skin, or whatever after liposuction. I don't know if that's the only reason, but I developed one almost immediately. I think I probably had it beforehand. That's probably why it was burning so bad for me to get out of the bed. And that's another story, but I don't know if I need to do another part 2. I don't want this video to be too long, but I feel like that may have been the reason why I was struggling so hard while I was at my recovery house. It burned so bad, like, to get up, it felt like my skin was ripping every time I got up. And it was okay when I would stand up, but it's only so long you can stand up before you get fatigued. So I feel like I had it when I was there, probably day 4. And I feel like maybe because I got taped early, because a lot of people say you can get taped at day 4, and I did. And that's probably why I got fibrosis and why I got that seroma, maybe. But I had the tape on up until I got home, and I took it off because all of a sudden I got itchy as hell, and it started to like irritate my skin, so I took it off. So I can't. That's another question about the tape method. I got mine done by Ari and Relax by Ray, and he's on the last video, but they were all helpful, and I had somebody else massage me, but Ari taped me. And I'm not saying anything of that is her fault, but I just feel like it didn't help me personally. So in summary, I got 2 a week, slowly went to 1 a week, stopped, and then started back again 1 a week. So somebody asked me, did I feel like I should have stayed longer? I don't think so. I could have left. No, it was a perfect day to leave. 8 days was perfect for me because I stayed there 2 days prior. My surgery was on a Friday. It gave me like 4 days to kind of be in that moment. And then I left on day 8, and that's the day I felt better. So I'm cool with the 8 days that I took being there. as far as time being off, I think that was a good amount of time too. I wasn't in any pain. I was just uncomfortable most of the time and just having to bend down and get stuff and whatever. And for the most part, I didn't have to do that. I had my mom here, my husband helped me, and I didn't have to do much. But 3 weeks was for me personally, and with what I dealt with as far as the seroma goes. I think that's what I was talking about before. The seroma, I'm going to input pictures of how big my seroma was and how much I had to take out. One thing I did not know was that apparently, I don't know how Jolie works and all that in general, but when you go back home, you need to ensure that you know a nurse or something, because I had to drain myself and my husband helped me drain myself. And for that is because I went to urgent care, turn me around. I went to emergency room, turn me around. They don't want to touch you without you being infected. And I don't think and I don't believe that you should have to be infected for them to be able to help you. I was in so much pain. They just kept telling me my body was going to absorb it. BS. That was not going to absorb. I'm going to show you a picture of how big that seroma was. And how painful it was, I can't describe. But no, that was not about to absorb my body. And that's what they kept telling me. And those first, I think it lasted about 2 weeks. That was the step. I was so upset. Like, I cried every time I had to lay down, I was upset. Because it hurt so bad. And to get up hurt so bad. And I tried to compress it as much as possible. But there's only so much I can do. So I had to order supplies off of Amazon, and I had saw a girl do it herself. Watched her, FaceTime my sister, and then we made it do what it do, and I made it happen. And we took out a lot, and I had to do that a couple times after the fact. After I drained it, the majority, I had to do it a couple days after that, and I think it stopped like the following week. It completely stopped. I compressed a lot. And I think just me consistently draining it like every morning or whatever, just when it needed to be drained, it kind of went away. So make sure you compress, and you don't have that issue, because you don't want a painful seroma. You don't want that. The flight home. So I'm in California. I flew all the way to Miami. That is a 7-hour flight. Around that. Too long. Now I didn't have a choice, because that's just where I wanted to go. That's where my doctor was. That's who I researched. So that's where I was gonna go. But if you can go somewhere closer, I would suggest doing that, because the flight ride is not something you want to kind of deal with. On the flight, I had a BB pillow. I flew Delta. I don't know who I flew with going there, but I flew back with Delta. And I chose Delta Comfort. I chose Delta Comfort because I wanted to have more leg room, and I knew I would have to kneel. So on my way back to both flights, it was pretty chill, but just being in the air for that long, I've been able to walk around. I walked around when I could, but not as much as I walked around a good amount, and then I stood up because sitting was ridiculous. When I tell you your butt is hard as hell, like a rock. But I kneeled. They let me kneel, as you can see from the video, the last video. They let me kneel, so that was a good thing. And the flight attendants were fairly nice. I think from my last video I put who my doctor was, but somebody asked who my doctor was. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, but it's Dr. Boulos or Boulos. Don't know. Boulos. There you go. And he's at Jolie Plastic Surgery. How many cc's did I get? So they're only allowed to take 4 liters of fat out of you. Now, I didn't think I had 4 liters of fat in me. I feel like he sucked me dry, so that's good. But from the papers that they gave me back that I requested from Jolie, it was only 800 cc's put into each cheek. I don't know why. Maybe my skin was too tight and it started to come out. I don't know. But that's what I was told. And then, but the group of... never mind. That's too much. Wish pics. Did I show him wish pics? I showed him a wish pic. but it was of somebody he had already done. I didn't want to give him a picture of an Instagram model, although I did have pictures like that in my phone. I decided to go and show him a picture of somebody he had already done that I felt like had a similar body shape as me, because I didn't want anything unrealistic, and I don't want it to not necessarily frustrate him, because I don't give a damn, but I didn't want to have him thinking I want to look unrealistic and then he just give me whatever. So I decided to give him a picture of somebody I know he did, and I like their result, and they look like my before picture. So, and he gave me, and he matched that. So I'm completely happy, and I feel like that's something that somebody who's getting surgery should always do. Go off of your doctor, because if you go in there expecting anything different than what he has, if he hasn't done any of that, why would you expect? I feel like it's the equivalent to going to a hairstylist's page, to a hairstylist page and wanting a hairstyle that you do not see on their page. Why would you go to them? Why would you go to that person if you don't see work with that look? Why would you do that? I used to think the same thing. I used to think like, okay, well, they can just do whatever because they should be able to do this thing. Don't be unrealistic. Don't have these Instagram models don't look how they look in their pictures. So go in there, look at people, go in these groups, look at people, ask them, of course, if you want to, if you can use their picture as a wish picture. But I mean, as long as you're not going around like flashing that picture to everybody else, I see no reason why you just can't use anybody's picture, honestly, because I'm not showing it to nobody else but the doctor, and I'm showing him like, hey, this is how I want to look. I know you've done this before. I think I look similar to this. Let's get it done. But please do not go in there with a picture of a 21-inch waist, 43 hips. Like, they may be possible, but be realistic, and don't go in there showing a crazy unrealistic picture and be mad that he didn't deliver. Because if that's not something you see on his page, don't expect it. And that's for any doctor. When did I start sitting? So, like I said in the beginning, I was doing any and everything to make myself feel comfortable. So I started sitting, not really necessarily sitting. I started laying on my sides and whatnot, because I wasn't really too concerned about my hips. That's not what I went there for. So I had bought an avocado floaty because it burned, like I said before, to lay down on my stomach. I didn't care at that point about how my butt looked or how my results came out. As long as my stomach was flat, that's all I was worried about. The butt was a bonus. When I went and after surgery or whatever, and after I felt that pain, I was like, I gotta try the avocado. Sorry. I have to try the avocado float, because hopefully that'll set me up. I obviously tried to like lay down what's it called, blankets and whatnot to cover up the hole so my butt wouldn't fall through and me basically sitting. And if oh my god, it felt okay for a minute. I don't know how long I actually slept like that, but any comfort. I'm not sure how long I stayed that way, but I was comfortable for a little bit, and I don't regret doing what I did, because other people at that recovery house felt like I should have just kept laying on my stomach, even though I kept complaining about how bad my stomach burned. And when I get to that point, I will explain. But had I had a actual nurse there, they probably could have told me what I had. They could have told me I had a seroma. They could have told me that whatever the cause was of the pain that I was feeling. But I didn't have a nurse. So I'll get there though, because that's a pretty lengthy story. So back to I was sitting. So sitting, I didn't necessarily sit until I got home. I had to sit on the plane until takeoff, but I had my BBL pillow. But when I got home, the only thing that I sat on, and it was very temporarily, and it was kind of like with your toes kind of up on the floor, where you're not like sitting mad hard, like you're just kind of up a little bit, on beds and couches. I never sat on anything hard. I sat on this chair, but it has like a cushion. So I never sat on anything hard. And when I did sit on something hard, it hurt. So I didn't. So that's when I started sitting about a week. And I think my butt came out okay. So, the tape method I talked a little bit about. Tape method, like I said, I went to Ari. She taped me. She was really sweet. But I don't think it may have helped. But I had to take it off day 4. No. Day 6 or 7. No. Day 9 or 10. Sorry. Day 9 or 10. Because it was when I was at home. And it's when it got unbearably itchy. And I don't know if my skin started to react to it, or maybe because of the shower that I took. Who knows? I can show it before and after. Right here, hopefully. I can't even say it was a tape method because I didn't have it on that long. But I've seen people have results with it. So, you know, take that for what it is. Fajas. Jolie gives you a faja, and don't be alarmed when they give you like a 4X and you've never worn a 4X in your life, because they gave me a 3X. And I was like, I think I got this wrong. But if you looked at my last video, you will see how it fit on me. It wasn't huge. And plus, you're going to swell. So, it's to be expected. I was out of my first faja in 2 weeks, if that. And then I got into my black faja, which I got from Pretty Girl Curves. I walked over there to get that faja and my BBL pillow. I like that one better than, obviously, Jolie's. I just went over there and told them, like, hey, I'm about to have surgery. This is the sizes they gave me. What should I get for after? Because I wanted a black one because I didn't want all that blood everywhere. I didn't want that to be visible. Not that I don't want to see that I'm bleeding, because obviously you want to know that. But I didn't want to be walking around looking bloody. That's just my prerogative. So then I ordered my Tributa faja. I believe I was 2 weeks post-op, and I didn't get it until about a month post-op. And when I tell you, that bitch is still tight to this day. It's tight as hell. Like, it hurt to have it on. And I watched this other girl. She alters fajas, and she doesn't like Tributo for some reason. And I had watched one of her videos, and she said to take out the wires in it, and I did that. It helped a little bit, but it's still too tight. And I'm sure if I ate a little bit better, you know, I'll be, you know, going down the notches. But I haven't really lost any inches for real. I'm still a 31. So pre-op, I was 36. So I lost 5 inches off my waist. And if you go to my surgery page on my Instagram, you will see my before and how big my stomach was and how big my back rolls were. So, yeah, and I haven't bought any. I tried a couple Amazon fajas, but when I tell you, my crotch was in pain. Like, I did not like how it made that feel. And the one I got from Pretty Girl Curves had a zipper, and I liked that. And I wanted to avoid getting chicken butt. If you don't know what chicken butt is, I can insert a picture, but it's where the faja is too tight on your butt, I believe, and it just kind of gives you that chicken look of their butt. So, faja, check. Okay, it's that time to talk about the recovery home. So, I'm not going to name this place because you'll probably know who they are anyways. Now, if this person is watching the video, the owner, I'm specifically talking about the owner, please take my criticisms as a way to improve your business, because I'm not gonna down a black business, but I did not like your CNA. Period. Did not like her. In the very beginning, she was a sweet person, cool, not sweet, cool person, and everything was fine in the beginning. I was a little bit thrown off by not having a ride. That was number one. and I'm gonna try to go in order as much as possible. I did not have a ride. I assumed that it was going to be the person who's in charge of the recovery house coming to get me, or somebody else that works there. The owner, I texted her when I was there, and I told her that I was there, and she sent me an Uber. Okay. Went to on my way to the recovery home. The neighborhood did not look the best. Now, I'm not finna sit here in front like I'm from some place that looks any better than that. But I don't expect my recovery home to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't expect it. So, that's another thing. Third thing, I'm not finna count because it's probably a little bit too much. Third thing is when I got there, my first impression was the house was small. And when I went into the rooms, like the front area is fine. And I feel like that's the reason why she takes the pictures there the most, is because, you know, that's the best looking area. But in the back, as far as the rooms go, one I didn't go in that room, but one room, I guess is the one where if you want to have it by yourself, a room by yourself, the bed seemed like it take up the entire room. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but the room that I was in, it was a shared room with one other bed. But when you can look at the last video, it was like, I don't even know how they got the beds in there. But like the room is narrow, bed like this, headboard right here, another bed right here, but they're touching. There's a TV right here, so that doesn't help the person sleeping right here. And there was one closet, which is fine. I didn't even really use it. But the walking space was narrow. It was about not even this long. About this much walking space. No. We should not be that close together. And we should have something, and this is what I learned on eventually, that we need something to get up by ourselves. We shouldn't have to, and it's helpful for somebody to come help us, but there should be something on the wall where we can grab. My second day there, I hadn't even had surgery yet. A girl passed out because she was trying to walk herself to the bathroom. And I'm not sure the reason for that, but had she had something to hold on to, maybe that would have helped. But I panicked because it hit so hard. The way she felt, I thought somebody crashed their car into the building. So she felt hard. And I'm glad she's okay. But no. And there was only one person there. Actively. Oh, I kind of skipped over a part. So I never met the person who even booked me. And that's the nurse. And that's the owner of the place. Now, I didn't expect that. Everything that I researched was like, okay, if you're gonna book a recovery house, you need to look up that nurse. So I did, and she was on that list. So I was like, cool. I did it right. She's affordable. Cool. Do y'all know she was not there? And to add to it, she was not in the state.